The signpost.
The sign, all one word or two separate words?
Signpost, however you want to do it.
Okay, I started it as two separate words, so the sign post.
Yep.
Okie dokie. Right
then. Thank you, Kevin, for the fanfare.
Are you ready to do your thing, Angie?
I'm ready.
Then we're ready to listen. 3,
Cool.
2, 1.
Hello, everybody. And I hope you're doing well with all the crazy solar stuff that's going on. I wasn't even sure if I'd be doing a show today the way I felt yesterday, but today was another day. And yeah, pretty good, actually. So tonight, I'm going to be talking about being a signpost. So, yeah, that might sound a bit funny. So what do I mean? What do I mean by being a signpost? So I'm going to answer 3 questions during this. What do I mean by being a signpost? How do you know if one of the reasons, because it's not just, we don't just have one purpose when we come here. We might have multiple, or we might have no purpose. We might just be here to experience this strange world. So how do you know if one of your jobs, for want of a better word, is to be a signpost? And also, how can you, if that is one of your callings, then how can you step into this role or step into it more? Okay. So this has come up because I woke up with a question this morning, zooming around my brain, about being a signpost. It's like, well, what is that? Because I was given that message. And I'm like, well, I don't know what that is. What is that? So, excuse me, I'm just moving my hair out of the way because I can see. So what is a signpost? So my hair's doing weird things now. Stop it. So some people would call this a way shower. Other people might call it a guide. But the way I see it is literally, so as we're walking on this synchromistic unfolding path, yeah, of ascension or expansion of consciousness, I see it. So if you think that this might be something that is on your radar, so I see it as, it's like, when you get a signpost on a path, you might be looking for a direction, or you might just stumble across a signpost and you go, yeah, actually, I want to go there. Or, like I say, you might be searching for it. If you've ever done a hike where you're following a map, but obviously there aren't signposts on the map, but you're looking for the next part of your journey, the next part of your hike, yeah, you'll know what that's like, especially if you can't find one. And then you get lost. So anyway, the way I see it is, it's as signposts. It's our job, if you like, to give folk the information to make a choice on the path. Yeah. So literally like a signpost. So there might be more than one choice. So if you reach a fork in the road, for example, you have 2 choices. So a signpost will say, well, this way goes this, leads to that place, or this way goes to that place. So this isn't about, so as a witch and occultist, as all the other hats that we wear, this isn't about this is the way and there's no other way, because as we know, all paths eventually lead to self-realization. So this is not about dogma in any way, shape or form. This is about presenting options, and then our divine free will allows us to then choose the option that fits best for us at that moment in time. So again, this is the perception that comes from your perspective. So depending where you are on your path, and you could even say depending where you are going, on your ascension. So if you're going up a hill, depending where you are on that hill would depend on how far you perceive the summit is, for want of a better word. Yeah. Also, do you want to go straight up, or do you want to go, because you can go round to get up. That's a slightly longer journey. But it would be less challenging. Let's say that. So it's always about presenting options, yeah. And one of the things that came up when I was asking questions about this morning was about being a bridge. So part of being a signpost could actually involve a bridging. So imagine, if you will, you're in the labyrinth, yeah. You're not quite sure. Oh my God, where am I going? I can't see anything, because in a labyrinth, it's especially if it's the labyrinth with Mr. Bowie in it, things move and shift and aren't quite as they seem, which is kind of what this world is all about, yeah. So you might need a perspective. You might need a shift in your perception, which would come in the form of a bridge. So a bridge which spans the labyrinth would give you a different perspective. So you could see the labyrinth. Maybe you could see a path through, yeah. So a bridge can either be a way to overcome the obstacles in the labyrinth, because it's like a shortcut, or it can just be a way to gain that perspective, yeah. So interestingly, or maybe not interestingly, but it was interesting for me, one of the things that came up when I was asking this question this morning was, the bridging the gap through this labyrinth. And I suppose putting that out there, which I'll get to on the last question about how do you do that more, yeah. So if you want to change your perceptions about where you are in that, where to go in the labyrinth, so to speak, then a bridge. We need a bridge, do we not? So the other thing about a bridge, let me just find my notes here. Bridge. So the bridge spans the seemingly impossible. So on this journey, if you are caught, if you like, in the labyrinth, it could seem impossible, could it not, to find your way to the other side, yeah. So that's essentially, pardon me, what we're walking through right now is, some people would say we're walking through our Akashic records, which is all to do with the throat chakra, because the throat chakra connects to the Akasha. So what I find really interesting about that is there's a lot of people talking, all over the place, whether it's on YouTube, in blogs. There's on this kind of journey, there's a lot of people talking at the moment, which I find quite interesting, because that's throat chakra. Maybe not so many listening to themselves or to other people. I don't know. Just an idea. A bridge also. Are they usually straight? I think generally speaking, just flicking through my mind, I think generally speaking, bridges are straight, are they not? Correct me if I'm wrong. They shorten a distance. So if you wanted to, and this is kind of what our work's all about, to find those shortcuts when we can. Yeah, that's the weaving through the gaps in the universe. That's the witch's path, right? And the fastest way to do that, I will get on to at the end. But it also brings things together. A bridge brings two sides together. Yeah, interesting. It's also a transition. So by using a bridge, and in actual fact, sound healing, the power of sound is a bridge. It can take you from, we see that all the time when we've worked with people. They come and they look stressed on their face. By the time they're finished, their face is completely relaxed. So that's a bridge from one to the other. Yeah, 100%. It's a shortcut. Yeah. A bridge also overcomes obstacles. So if you're out on a hike and you need to cross a river, yeah, there's usually a bridge that crosses a river, is there not? So you might have to, go downstream or upstream a little bit and find the bridge, but essentially it's a lot safer than trying to cross the river. And I would never do it. I would rather go across a bridge, and believe me, I'm not a fan of some bridges, where you can see either side and it's high up. I'm not a fan of those, but I'd rather go across a bridge than try and go across a river. A bridge also crosses a divide. So you could see the labyrinth as something so this world, if you like, being the labyrinth, creates, does it not, division. The very nature of the duality of this world creates division. That's the nature of duality. It's divided, one and the other. Yeah. A bridge also brings opportunities. So it can be a bridge to the place that you would rather be, like in sound healing, go from stressed look on your face to, a peaceful looking face. That's an opportunity. It's also a solution. Yeah. Bridges the gap. So what other examples can I use? Nature is an amazing visual representation of, she does bridges all the time. Yeah. So in the winter, when everything looks like it's dead, it's not. If you look carefully enough, you'll see it's already bridging the gap, because little tiny buds are already forming on trees and things. Yeah. It's bridging the gap, even though it looks like it's not. Yeah. You could also see bridges as being burnt. Burning your bridges. Yeah. Not your britches, your bridges. So, yeah, a bridge can also take you over dangerous or uncharted territory. So if you really did not want to, take your hike, so to speak, through uncharted territory, if there's a bridge there, take the bridge. There's nothing wrong with that. So the other thing about, what is being a signpost? So when you think about it, yeah, literally, take this literally. So a signpost on a path, apart from being a signpost, what else does it do? Well, it doesn't do anything else, really, does it? So if you are the signpost, you're going to be in a place of stillness for a long time until someone comes past, so to speak. Because I tell you something, one of the questions I asked, because wanderers, let's say wanderers, haven't knocked on our door for, we've had a little, we've had a few wanderers knock on the door and ask the way, so to speak. But it's quite quiet at the moment. So, as a signpost, you get a lot of time to reflect. Yeah, it's quite an inner reflective pastime or job. Yeah. Let me just look at so there was a specific question that I asked about that this morning. So I did actually ask, I asked the question, if I'm a signpost on the path, why then is the path not very busy? Yeah. And weirdly, interestingly, I got the answer that there's been a shift in energy and people are leaving, which is really weird because I'm hearing other people say that people are leaving, whether that's physically leaving this little island or they're leaving and choosing death, for a better word. And when I asked for clarification on that, I asked, do you mean that some folks are choosing physical death rather than physical ascension? And I got, yeah, because it's faster. So that's interesting. But it's just a different way. It's just a different way to do it. And it's really mad because yesterday, during the weirdness of yesterday, one of the things that we did was Ian works as an oracle. So when he was channeling the oracle, my mum came in, bless her heart, and she chose the physical death 15 years ago now. And she, I don't know how long it took her to get to the place where she is now on the other side, but she's having a whale of a time now. So it's just a different way to get there. The other thing that if this is something that you feel resonates with you, being a signpost, one of the other things that you could be called to do is be a psychopomp, because that is a signpost in that liminal space. Yeah. I've had very intense but very short experience with that, and that was quite interesting. I haven't been called to do it since. I think that was just a time, that was the beginning of the year. I don't know if a lot of people were passing during the beginning of the year. I don't know. I haven't done the research on that. But that was very interesting. So what you would also find as a signpost is that your inner work, what we call the great work, those practices will be magnified big time. Yeah. Because to be able to be a signpost and recognize when someone is walking past that needs a direction, yeah, there's a groundedness that needs to be there as a signpost, if that makes sense. Also, your masks. All those things that we wear as humans, yeah, all those masks, all those things that we project out, they will also be magnified and projected out, which is what the inner work's all about. It's about, getting rid of those things, getting rid of them, parting the way, if you like, so that as a signpost, a beacon, you could also say a beacon, yeah, that is allowed to shine. Yeah. So the inner work is stability magnified. I hope that makes sense. And from that place, as a signpost, you can then hold a space. So we're kind of conditioned to not hold space for people, but to try and fix them. You know, you must be fixed. It's not what a signpost does. What a signpost does is it holds the space for someone in love consciousness, if you like. Hang on, where's my notes gone? Hang on, bear with me. Nope. Sorry, that's not a continuing sentence I've written there. Bear with me. Yeah, so we take the opportunity to hold that space from a place, or the place of who you truly are. Yeah, does that make sense? So the other thing that comes up, or that is part of being a signpost, I would probably say, is as you let go of those, you release those masks, those illusions that we are kind of taught to put in front of us, you know, so what, no one can get in. Part of this inner work is about moving those deep cycles, moving them out. Yeah. Pardon me. And the word I got was there's a sharp snap as the rope that holds them to you snaps. And then those deep cycles move. Yeah. So is being a signpost something that you think is, or maybe you've been doing this and you just didn't know what it was? It's like, yeah, one of the questions that I asked myself over the years since we've been doing what we do, you know, as a couple of occultists, and well, people will call us weirdos, but you know, that's their perspective. Is, you know, why is it that, you know, people will kind of gather around us for a time? Some people stay, some people don't. Some people come back for a little while and then they go again. So is what I've realized this morning doing this reading was that that's why that happens. So people don't always stay because you are a signpost. Kind of makes sense. So if this is, you know, is being a signpost something that, you know, you feel is for you? So once you get on the path, you will find, so this is the path of self-realization, expansion of consciousness, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. What you find, and I found this myself, so this is from my own personal experience, that there's a steady growth that happens very quickly. Yeah. Compared to how it went before. So for the first 30 odd years of my life, I was in a holding pattern going round, 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 and wondering why nothing ever changed. So this path and you know, like the signpost, yeah, what happens on that path is there is an expansiveness which happens very quickly, steadily but quickly. Yeah. After the falling away of things, so there's people, places, things, experiences. Yeah. After those things fall away, once you get on the path, there's like there's a releasing to the receptive feminine aspect of our being. And you could say that's, you know, your connection with Mother Earth. Yeah. So through this expansiveness, you find your way. So it's actually easier. I know this blew my mind a little bit. Through expansiveness, it's easier to find your path than if you've got blinkers on, which kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Because you've got a wider field of vision. I think most people think if I've got my blinkers on, so that would be dogma. Yeah, if I've got my blinkers on, the path is going to be really straightforward. No, definitely not. Through my own experience. So through this expansiveness, finding your path, this fuels your growth and your receptive, nurturing, Venusian, that holding and witnessing energy that brings, which is Signpost. I say we've had some really interesting experiences with people who have rung us up and said, I really need to come and speak to you guys. That, you know, they don't know us. Yeah, I really need to come and speak to you. I feel like I need to come and speak to you. They come, they'll sit with us for an hour or two, and sometimes 3, and then they go, thank you, and they might give us a bit of, you know, a donation or whatever, and then we never see them again. And it, you know, when this repeats, it's like, okay, so clearly we're holding space for people, which is a signpost. That's a signpost. Or what else did I call it? A signpost, or way shower. Or you could say guide, because some people, you walk down the path with them a little way, and then they go, yeah, it's okay, I'm okay now. So you go back and you go back to being a signpost. This might sound a bit strange, but this is where I was this morning. I thought it was really cool. So if this sounds like something that you might think, wow, do you know what? I've been doing that all my life and I never knew what it was, or I never understood why people come and go. Very rarely do they stick around for a long, long time. Yeah. You can get confirmation as to whether this is the path or whether you're the signpost on the path. Yeah. You can get confirmation through divination, like I did this morning. Yeah. So you could, if you program your pendulum properly and you go into it without attachment, you can certainly use a pendulum. Yes, no, maybe. Yeah. You could use cards. Now, if you want to ask yes, no questions, yeah, Lenormand is the best one because they have positive charge cards in Lenormand and they have negative charge cards in Lenormand. They also have neutral, so there is also a maybe in there. But the Lenormand are really good for those kind of questions. You can use tarot if you are more comfortable with tarot. You can certainly use tarot. But because you have Lenormand are very to the point, very to the point, no messing about. Yes, no, maybe. So stepping into it, yeah. So what was really interesting is, so let's backtrack a little bit. So when we went to the tarot exhibition, I managed to get a set of the Thoth tarot, not in the exhibition, but we went into, where did we go to? We went to Watkins. They didn't have the ones I wanted. I'm very disappointed. So I went to Treadwell's. Treadwell's had some, last one on the shelf, so I bought it. And in that set, it has a picture of a very young Aleister Crowley, and on the back of it, it's got a picture of Lady Harris, Lady Frida Harris. Yeah. So I've put that photo up with a picture of Thoth that Ian drew. So they're overseeing at the moment. So when I was shuffling my cards, and they're not propped up on anything permanent or anything yet, it was really interesting because I was shuffling the cards, and one of them flew out and basically landed right in front and kind of knocked the picture askew. So I'm like, okay. Crowley has something to say about stepping into being a signpost. So I'm gonna quote his quote, yeah. Which most people only hear the first bit and they disregard the rest for whatever reason. Probably because of the thought form that's around Crowley. So his quote is, "Do as thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law. Love under will." So that last bit people also misconstrue. Love under will actually means love underpins your will. So it's your divine will. Yeah. So what was really cool when I was asking questions about how do you step into this being a signpost? Yeah. One of the things that came up was Venus energy. Yeah. Very strong Venus energy. And that's a commitment. So it's a commitment you're making from a place of love consciousness, whatever you want to call that, which is Crowley, which is why that card flew out and just skewed the picture slightly. I thought that was quite interesting. So yeah, stepping into. So, you know, bear that in mind. So you're coming from that place, that very strong, empowered place of love consciousness, or what else do people call it? All the other names they give it anyway. It's a commitment that you make. Yeah. It's also about choosing to be seen, because a signpost is no good if you can't see it. And we know that from personal experience from now when did we do that? Was that last year? I think it was the year before last, 2023, middle of summer, baking hot day. And we're doing what should have been a 14-mile walk up the North Downs to visit some ancient sites. Turned out to be 18 because we didn't see the sign that was pointing up to the North Downs because it was covered by foliage. So a signpost is no good to you if you can't see it. So choosing to be seen is an occasion. It's celebrating, if you like, your ability to hold that space for people. Yeah. And what you will find, if you like, a byproduct of doing that, there will be, again, so the message about steady but fast growth came up again. So it's very quick, fast, steady improvements and movement. So in doing that, in holding that signpost energy, for want of a better word, for other people, you are actually, because of all the other things that I've talked about, you will experience very fast improvements, very fast transitions within yourself. And what it does as well, it very quickly opens up new experiences. So, like I say, we've met some very interesting people along this way. Some of them stayed for a little while. Some of them we had more interaction with. Some of them didn't come back because they got what they needed. They got that direction. Yeah. And they went, off they go. Yeah. And some people have done amazing things. when we were running yoga classes and workshops, it was a fully immersive experience. We didn't just want to do gym yoga. That's not our thing. Yeah. We wanted to create a whole, embrace the whole of yoga, not just the physical asana. And it was always really funny, because as I would be packing things away, we usually had to allow more time on the end of the classes and workshops for people to speak to Ian. Then we go, oh, I just need to speak to you, Ian. And he'd be like, sorry, Ange. People want to talk to me, and I'll be there frantically packing things away. But what it did is it opened our eyes to, different people's experiences. But what it also did is, through almost, because people need permission, do they not, to, go and live the life they want to. So by saying to someone, well, you are allowed to do that, it is your life, they go, oh, okay. And off they go. Which is amazing. So it opens up a whole load of stuff. That's what I'm saying. What it also brings is endings. So that can be an interesting experience as well. So things, people, places, things fall away, which I think was right at the beginning. I was talking about that. So it's almost like, if being a signpost is something that, you quite fancy doing, just be prepared for that. Because as I found myself, as I was kind of getting closer to this idea of who am I really? I'm not the jester. I'm not the drunk. I'm not the entertainer anymore. People, I don't know, they didn't like that. They didn't like that I wasn't entertaining them anymore. So they began to fall away. It's interesting. So yeah, final little bit before, if anyone wants me to pull some cards, I can do that. So if this is something, that is like your whole being is going, oh my God, whoa, yeah, because that's kind of what I was experiencing this morning with this. It's like, this is crazy. This is amazing. Then take action. If this is a big old yes, then take some action that is in line with, how you want to be as a way shower, a signpost, a guide, because it's your destiny, is your choice. Yeah, it's there in the ether. You just have to go, okay, yeah, that's mine. I'm taking it. Thank you. So yes, the Venus energy is, I think, let me just go back in my head here. There is a, I forget what it's called. Kazimi. I think it's called Kazimi. It's an astronomical, and possibly an astrological as well term for two planets, this is really fascinating, yeah. Which is another reason why this happened today, because on Saturday, I think it's Saturday, there are two lots of planets that are lined up with the sun. I'm not sure if Saturday is the Uranus Earth one, but I know Jupiter. And if you've got any kind of planetary app thing on your phone, go ahead to Saturday and you will see Venus and Jupiter are lined up either side of the sun. So they're in line with the sun. than each other. Now, Venus, obviously, love, water, the Hathors. Jupiter is all about expansion. So,
Both myself and my friend are ruled by Jupiter. She's Sagittarius, Pisces.
yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I've got Jupiter quite prominently in my chart as well. I can't remember where, but yeah. So yeah, you got Venus and Jupiter. So that's expansion energy of love consciousness. So if a signpost is your way to go, see what I did there? Then I would say start Saturday. So that's all I really got to say on the matter, unless anyone wants me to pull them some cards.
Well, I'd like you to pull me a card, but before you do, I was just going to voice my little thought.
Yeah.
That every single person is a signpost, whether they know it or not. Because one of the things that I say a lot is, if your actions don't back up your words, then your words are meaningless.
Absolutely.
So your actions are that's the information on the signpost. So if you act in a certain way, whether it's a negative or a positive way, it doesn't matter. You are a signpost, and you, as an observer of that signpost, you can look and you can think, yeah, I don't want to be like that. Or you can think, yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I want to go that way. And that's the vibration. That's the energy vibration frequency thing. And yeah, you can look at certain people and the way that they live their life, the way that they act in their life, the way that they destroy their lives, and you can think, no, that's not for me. And thereby, inadvertently, they are a signpost as well. So I just thought I'd want to share that bit.
Yeah, that's really cool. I like that. It's a bit like.
I'm learning to be a better signpost by staying still and then not interjecting until I hear everyone doesn't have the answer. Then I point out, oh, this is what it means, and say, like, pointing the way. Here, the bridge is over that way. That's when I'm a signpost, when I give everyone else a chance. Today it was kofifi. They didn't know what it meant. I did. And yeah, I told them exactly the chemical formula. CO for cobalt, V for vanadium, Fe for iron, Fe for iron, and it neutralizes bad EMFs. So yeah, well, no one knew that except me. Yay, me.
What I know is not the same. How does that thing go now? What I don't know is not the same as what you don't know.
I don't know.
What I don't know.
Sure about that.
What I don't know is not the same as what you don't know.
Yeah, makes sense. Kind of.
That's the assumption that we all make. We all assume that everybody knows what we know, but what I don't know is not the same as what you don't know. Always, as always. So, yeah.
Cool.
Would you please pull me a card, Angie, for this weekend?
So I'm using. I was inspired to actually get Ian's. They're tarot, but they're not tarot. They're Taurat. There we go. Ian's cards are now in the physical realm. Oh, you got the Three of Wands, the Three of Conkers, with the clonkers. So let me just. You'll be going, what? Let me share a picture. These are really, really cool. I think you'll like these, Andy.
Go on, let's have a look.
There you go.
The Three Amigos.
Yes, the Three Amigos. So there'll be something this weekend. which will bring out it sounds a bit trite to say the power of 3, but there will be something where it'll either be the number 3 keeps appearing, or it'll be three groups, not groups, 3 instances of the same thing.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Over the weekend period, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah. It's fire energy. So this isn't an actual fire. I think this is. It's going to sound really weird.
About a Triskelion earlier.
This is going to sound really weird, Andy. Something to do with digestion.
All right. I have the constitution of an ox when it comes to digestion.
There'll be something to do with digestion.
Right.
I don't know what it is. Whether that's food or whether that's digesting something on a metaphysical level, it might be that as opposed to food.
Right.
Anything else? Anything else? It's quite what's what I'm looking for? It's quite there's a balance there. So whatever it is that comes up that is around digesting something, it's not like it's gonna throw you off. Does that make sense?
Right.
But it's definitely around 3.
I'm going to take it in my stride.
Yeah. But there's the 3 things, either 3 of the same thing, and you might go, what on earth? It might make you go, what?
Expect 2 more.
2 more cards?
No, I said if I'm hit by lightning, expect 2 more.
Let's hope not.
Let's hope not, no.
That's funny. Yeah, so keep your third eye open, I would say.
Okay.
For,
thank you for that.
For something that comes in that is in 3s or in like 3 of, yeah. That let me know as well. Let me know.
Happenings.
3 happenings, yeah. 3 happenings.
If I get 3 of something happening, I will definitely let you know.
Cool. Would anyone else like a card? Oh, I didn't show it, did I?
I would for between now and the next full moon, please.
Okay. So I'm using the same deck. Whoop. So these Torah cards are also for children. So because they are part of the stories that Ian writes, they're also child friendly. So it's a really good way of there it is, of introducing tarot to children. This is a really cool card. The all-seeing wizage. So a wizage, just so you know, is like a cross between a witch and a wizard. So there you go, Kevin, the all-seeing wizage. So you got the third eye open. You've got the chakras in the hands are open. This is a very powerful card. It's kind of a magician card. So between now and the next full moon, did you say, Kevin?
energy. Yeah.
So between now and the next full moon, obviously you've got the waning moon, the dark moon, and then the new moon going to the full, which is nearly a whole month. There will be, I would say, you're going to be collecting things which could be magical things or not magical things, but the intention with those things, magical or non-magical, is to do something with them that is magic. So depending on your definition of magic, some kind of ritual, some kind of ceremony, I would suggest. There are scales in the background that are not quite balanced, so you might need to work on that a little bit. So grounding. He's also wearing green on his bottom half. So grounded in your heart chakra, I would suggest, to keep that, to keep yourself, this might sound weird, in your body. There's also a clock. So it's time, Kevin, to step into your magical self in whatever way, shape, or form that takes shape. Does that make sense? It'll be personal to you, and I would let it be personal to you, not necessarily what other people think that should be. Because we know what we do with the word should, don't we, guys? We put it in the bin.
Wow, that's wonderful. Yeah, that's wonderful, because I am gathering some things. I'm going on a journey, I think I told you. So I want to know, should I bring this? Should I bring, a bongo? Not bringing my big bongos, but I'm bringing my native flute. I'm bringing a camera and binoculars and a tent, sleeping bags, all kinds of stuff that I have to gather together.
There you go.
Yet leave room, leave lots of space, because, well, I'm picking someone up.
There you go.
So, yeah, it's going to be tricky in the logistics part of packing and leaving space as well. Yeah, that could be tricky for me. I like to bring everything except the kitchen sink, usually.
Well, that's known as camping car Tetris. Or for us, because we don't have a car, so when we go camping, it's very much about that's the backpack and trolley Tetris. Cool. Would anyone else like a card?
Sure, Angie.
Yep.
Pull a couple for me, please. Thank you.
Okie dokie. Okay. Oh, how many have you got there? Got 3. Okay.
Magic number.
Magic number. So we've got the romancers, which could be a love thing, or it could be a commitment to something. We have the Queen of Vessels, and so the vessels in this deck are the Fae. So I don't know if you've had any connection with the fairy realm, Jackie.
Not that I know of, but who knows? I could have had and didn't know it.
And then we have the Secret Wizardch, which is really cute. So
I love that word.
we have a commitment to mastery of that kind of that blah, 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 word, that kind of that's the word, grace under pressure. Yeah. So very much making a commitment to that kind of a way of being. And the secret wizard, he's kind of hiding but observing, and because although he thinks that nothing else can see him, they can see him, but they really don't mind him observing. So it could even be that if you've been observing something through this this lens of grace under pressure, that you don't realize that people can see you. We can see you, but it's okay.
If anyone is seeking your advice, they must come to visit you up on that branch and
Yeah.
like a sage.
Yeah, absolutely. What have you got? What else have you got on this card? You got the chameleon. So you might find that this energy of the secret wizard is kind of your multiple personas. That maybe you're keeping some of them close to your chest rather than, you know, being out there with all of them. We have little fishes. We have a mole. So the mole is lives most of its life underground. So you need to come up. You need to say hi more. We've got the I think they're pansies. They look like pansies. I don't know if you have those in your garden, Jackie. Pansies.
I think so. I think they're pansies. They're on my windowsill. No, on windowsill. Sorry, on my balcony.
Yeah, they do look like pansies because they're kind of pastel, right?
Yeah, they're.
I don't think they're.
I've just looked at them under the magnifying glass. Yeah, they're pansies. So they're very. I think they're kind of overlooked. So maybe you felt a bit overlooked, Jackie. So yeah, it's definitely time to step out from behind that log.
Okay, if you insist.
Overlooked no more after sharing that beautiful creation the past couple days. Wow.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Right, it's okay. Thank you.
It's okay. Did anyone have any thoughts before we sign off on what I've been talking about? What I've been waffling on about being a signpost.
Literal metaphorical. Oh, go on, Kevin.
I just said, I've learned as a signpost, I must stay grounded instead of letting the wind move my signpost around too much. I must wait for people to come to me instead of say, here's the way, here's the way. Just wait for someone to say, which way's that confounded bridge?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the inner work, isn't it? That's the being able to come to that place of stillness, and you know, and that's an honoring of yourself as a being as well. You know, being able to be in that stillness, and it's kind of proactive as opposed to reactive, which is what we're taught. We're taught to react to everything, not to be proactive on this spiritual journey, you know, on this journey of unfolding, if you like. So yeah, that makes sense. And it's you know, don't get me wrong, it's a challenge. Are you up for the challenge, people?
Yes, ma'am.
Cool. Anyone else? Or are we all done here?
Yeah. All I was going to say is that signposts can be literal, metaphorical, and figurative.
Absolutely. Yep.
I can remember a bridge I wanted to cross on the Antrim coast of Ireland, but Bernadette, she was scared because that bridge was kind of, walking over to an island off the coast of Ireland, but she was afraid of it, so I didn't go by myself.
Was that near the Giant's Causeway?
Well, it's on the way to the Giant's Causeway.
Yeah, I know the bridge you mean. I know that bridge. I've never been on that bridge, but I've seen photos of it. Yeah, I wouldn't cross that bridge either.
Yeah, I'm not gonna cross it. I would love to try and go across it one day with someone who's brave.
Yeah, it's a bit of a wonky bridge. But if it's been there for many, 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 many years, it's probably quite safe, really. I hope.
Just don't kiss the Blarney Stone, whatever you do. Deidre from around that area told me what the boys do.
I've no idea what that means. Oh dear, that's funny. Okay, folks, if no one else has anything they want to share, then we can stop the recording, I think. Whoops. Drop my crystal. And he's all gone silent.
Hang on. Before we close the show, I'd just like to, because you mentioned it earlier, and it just come back to me. I've just shared one of my all-time favourite tunes from a film from many years ago. So it's called Burning Bridges.
Wow. Cool. Yeah, so you can all.
You might not know the tune, but it's from the film Kelly's Heroes.
Oh, blimey. That's an old film, isn't it? Hasn't that got Clint Eastwood in it?
Yeah, there's a load in it. There was Clint Eastwood, Telly Savalas. There were loads of famous actors of the time back in the day. And one of my favourite films as well, Kelly's Heroes. And
don't think I've seen that for about 30 years.
That gets played for it just resonates with me, and it made me think of it when you mentioned Burning Bridges earlier.
Absolutely.
So there we go.
Cool.
You should never burn your bridges behind you in case you have to make a quick retreat.
Well, it depends, doesn't it? If there's something following you that you don't want following you.
It's double-edged that, because and if you're always moving forward, then there's no need to have a bridge behind you to go back to.
Absolutely. Yep.
But yes, sometimes burning your bridges is metaphorical, figurative, and literal.
I like that. Cool. Okay. Do you want to stop the recording, Andy? Lovely.